Okay, Peter 1, Peter 2,
Peter 2,
Peter 3.
Peter 3.
And beat you. I beat you. Do it,
This is the way.
This is the way. Vengeance. I am the knight. I am Batman.
And welcome back to the Nerding Out podcast. It's been a few. We've had this man purchased a home. So how's that going?
Oh, it's going great, I mean, new home, new job. That's going well.
Oh, that's
Batman coming up next
Batman,
week.
yes.
It's all going good.
As you know, Micah from earlier
Hey, everybody.
has returned. So tonight, all we're doing is talking about the Batman. Obviously directed by Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, Colin Farrell,
Paul Dano
as Riddler, yes. And I don't know the guy's name that plays Gordon, but
Jeffrey Wright.
yeah, I know him from Hunger Games, and that's it.
Yeah, and then you got what's his name? John Turturro for Falcone.
Falcone, yeah.
And yeah.
So, I mean, big names, as we all know, this is going to be the film of the year. There's no question about it. Will it be the best DC film? Possibly. I don't know if it'll be that Dark Knight, but we'll see. But
It's gonna be a tall task, even to like in my mind beat Batman Begins.
yeah,
But I'm here for it. I'm here for the I'm here to watch it and I'm here to judge it and rank it.
yeah.
And I think it's gonna be great. It looks great, but it does have a tall task to beat because Batman Begins is probably my favorite origin for a superhero ever.
Yeah, it's up there.
So I do think it does have some big shoes to fill, but from the looks of it, I think it might fill them, maybe even get a bigger size. So we shall see.
Micah, what are your opening thoughts on the Batman?
I'm excited. Yeah, I mean, I guess y'all know that, but yeah, I'm excited. How do I? Yeah, I'm excited. So like, I'm excited to start seeing like Batman really start beating up some people too. Like not just that like wimpy like I don't know.
Cutting.
Yeah, camera cut type. Like I'm talking like actually getting shot at and getting shot. Actually like I don't know, just that vengeance. You know what I mean?
Combat.
You know, like that.
Similar to the
brutal
Arkham
dude,
games.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Arkham. I mean, I dare say the Arkham games is the best thing that Batman has. Is it as a whole. As a whole. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm excited.
It's the Nolan trilogy for me, but
Spend a lot more hours on the games.
That's very true. It's very true. Very true. Yeah, no. This film is going to be amazing, no matter how you look at it. For the longest time, I sat here and thought, "What if this sucks?" But there's no way it will.
Well, we've seen, maybe 15, 20 minutes worth of a trailer, and the trailer looks better than just about anything DC's produced in the past decade, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Yeah, we're out of the Man of Steel decade, so
yeah,
it does look like it's going to be one of the best DC projects of recent memory.
I agree.
And I'm really hoping it's, it sticks and it's well liked all around.
Yeah.
Usually you have these movies that are divisive and like Batman versus Superman, 45% love it, 55% hate it.
Yeah.
And I really want this to be more on the lines of, 80% to 20 like it, or, it's just all around accepted,
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Well, the majority of the superhero movies we've seen in the, I guess, the near past have all been borderline comedic. And this one I don't think we're going to really see that. This one we're going to see like a full-fledged, like, I'm Batman, I'm here to protect my city no matter what. And it's like, I don't think we're going to have that comedy aspect. And I think a lot of like the younger, I guess, generation that have only come up with like the MCU and haven't, like, they might not like that, but anybody that has, I guess, a brain and like, I don't know, likes what a real superhero would be, should enjoy it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree with that because, this day and age, it's not all, comic, comedic, and all that. We're not doing, straight out of the comic books anymore. We're doing adaptations, and I feel like this is going to be a great adaptation. It's based off of what I've heard, The Long Halloween, most of, which is amazing. It's an amazing comic run, and they just did the animated what is it, part 1 and part 2.
Mm-hmm.
And they did those really well. It's just a accumulation of villains that, Batman's trying to find this murderer, and he's going after all these villains and trying to figure out which one did it. And I feel like we got a lot of that going on with this one with the mob, because the mob seems like it's going to be very heavy in this first film, which is exciting because, Batman starts off before he gets his super villains like Bane, Killer Croc, Poison Ivy, the main like super powered villains.
The rogue gallery, pretty much.
He starts off fighting the mob, and the mindset villains like Riddler and Two-Face, Penguin, all those.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see the mob and how it all ties in, because it seems like we're getting a deep story with Riddler, and it seems like Carmine Falcone is going to be a very big part of this.
Yeah. For me, I love the addition of Penguin. I feel like a Batman movie needs 2 villains.
Doesn't need 2 villains.
Minimum needs 2 villains.
Doesn't need 2 villains.
A good one has at least 2 villains.
Heath Ledger?
Well, you also had the mob in that one too. At the same time.
Really? I mean,
We're not going to talk about Dark Knight Rises?
well, it had
Yeah, Talia.
Talia and
Nah, she don't count.
Bane.
Did you see her die?
you also had Catwoman. Not a
Yeah.
villain, but another anti-hero, whatever.
Keep your personal
But-
thoughts about Anne Hathaway out of this, please.
Yeah, but I agree. I mean, they haven't really nailed the 2 villain, because, you look back to Batman and Robin, the George Clooney, it had, Freeze, Bane, Poison Ivy. Miss anybody? Is that
I think it was just the 3.
They did a
Yeah, I
3.
think it was
Bad
just 3.
writing.
Bad writing, corny costumes, bad acting, all the shebang of, what was that, 1995.
Yeah.
But and then you look back to the one before that was Batman Forever, which had, I think it was Riddler and Two-Face, wasn't it?
It's a great movie.
And it was for its time, really pretty good. But they haven't really nailed the 2 villains, because that one's
That was Val Kilmer, right?
that was Val Kilmer.
His Batman voice, bro.
Yeah, we actually, in preparation for the Batman, me and Whitt, we listened to all the different Batman voices. And we found out that Val Kilmer has probably the best Batman voice thus far.
So underrated.
Thus far of live action.
So
'cause
underrated.
Kevin Conroy is the Batman voice.
Yeah.
But Val Kilmer, I forgot that
It was really good.
it was like,
He's really
I
good.
was shook. And I'm really excited to see Robert Pattinson bust out his. It's a softer, more whispery.
What I think is going to be cool about this one is it's not that, I guess, like world-saving Justice League Batman. It's Gotham's Batman. It's and as far as I can tell, he's got the issues. He's the orphan with the issues. He's not the philanthropist who has the money, is a billionaire playboy. He's like, he turns out how you would expect somebody to turn out when their parents are shot in an alley.
Yeah.
And just has a desire for vengeance and justice. And so it's like, that's exciting for anybody who actually like respects that about Batman and acknowledges that about, like, he is a man. He's like, his superpower is that he's like determined for justice. Like, that's it. And that's his sole desire.
Yeah.
And you can see that, I guess, pretty obvious in the trailer.
No, I'm right there with y'all. I mean, I think this movie is probably going to be one of the closest to a comic book accurate Batman that we'll ever see, just based on how it's been lost in transition. Batman's a violent character. The enemies he fights, they are violent. Like, and I know in Dark Knight he's rough, but you don't see that physical toll that just physical, like the Daredevil does this so well, and I hate to go all the way back to Daredevil.
We always go to Daredevil. It's
Daredevil
fine.
does this so well to where you actually see the physical pain that the hero goes through, because he is just a human. And so this looks like we're going to actually be seeing, I mean,
I don't know about that, because the suit of armor looks pretty heavy.
oh, it does, but at the same time,
And he's like tanking bullets. I mean, they're shooting machine guns at it. But I mean, I agree. I think it'll be more of a physical toll. Whereas Ben Affleck's Batman was taking on those 30 guys in the warehouse, just absolutely obliterating them. I think this one will be more of
definitely bleeding.
I think something they're gonna do is more hand-to-hand combat, whereas he's not grappling people to the chest with a box and slinging a box at him like superhuman strength.
I mean, you just look at the scene that everybody loves from the trailers is when he's just beating the crap out of that thug.
And that was actually Robert Pattinson's idea to throw in those 2 extra punches at the end. Do you know that?
The boop, boop
He was,
at the end.
yeah.
It's confirmed that Alfred trained him too, isn't it? So you're gonna have that like almost like military style fighter training him, just like I'm gonna beat you up.
To my knowledge, from what I read, it was partially Alfred.
So, I mean, I guess
Because he was in the
His SAS,
yeah,
Special Service, yeah.
yeah. So he does kind of, and of course Andy Serkis. He kind of looks like he could.
Oh,
do
Alfred's
that
a
kinda
bad dude.
But the other thing I've heard is that when Bruce goes off to college, he takes various martial arts fighting courses throughout those.
Cool.
So he goes to these different, and then they don't accept. I mean, he'll get in trouble for something, and then he'll go to another one and figure out all that. And I don't, because Batman Begins starts out with him. He's going to these prisons and fighting guys.
Yeah.
And then Raish comes and gets him, and they train him, and that's how from the beginning of Batman Begins, you're like, okay, he's legit because he trained with the.
Yeah.
And we don't. I don't think we're gonna get that with this one. So we're gonna see a different story about how he became Batman and how he trained to be Batman. So it's pretty exciting.
And I think it needs to be different too, because you've had so many rewrites and reshoots of who Batman is, how he came up. The newest one now is the narrative that Alfred is a major part of his training as he grows up in Wayne Manor, and then he goes off on his own. Gotham does that so
they
well.
did it very well in Gotham.
Gotham does that so well, pays homage to that run of the comics. And I feel like this one is going to teeter on that, and I like the idea of him utilizing college as basically just a fighting ground. So that'll be really cool. And any worries about this film between you two? Like, if you have a concern that you've seen from the trailer or anything like that?
I don't know. Okay, it's not. I don't have
Concern might even be a big word for
I
that
don't
too.
have any worries or concerns about this. But if I were to think one thing that I'm like, I wonder if they're gonna nail this is my thoughts on whether or not Robert Pattinson will nail the role of Batman and then transitioning to Bruce Wayne. You go from he's all about Batman. He has no time for the social life. But I guess this is more of a 2-movie, 3-movie span. How are they going to nail? You have to play the billionaire philanthropist role to throw off that you're Batman.
Yeah.
Because nobody ever sees him. Whatever. I'm really curious how they're going to, if Robert Pattinson can nail the role. Because I know he's going to nail Batman. I'm curious to see if he'll nail Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that big time.
I don't think I have any concerns either. I'm crossing my fingers because my expectations on this movie are so high that it's like, even if it's a great movie, if it doesn't reach that, we talked about it the other day, like that 9.8, 10 out of 10 movie, then I'm like, it could be a 9.5 and I'll still be a little bit let down because it wasn't what I expected. So it's like,
right.
I do count on this to be one of, if not the greatest comic book movie ever made. And it's like, that
a lot to live up to.
I've seen a couple trailers, you know what I mean? more than any man should watch a trailer, but it's like, yeah, I mean, no concerns other than like my own personal expectations.
Yeah, no, and I get that too because I feel like as a culture we do that all the time. Like we did that, we weren't let down with No Way Home in any way, shape, or form, and I think that's going to kind of snowball a little bit to where we'll see like. And don't get me wrong, I am not really overly excited for anything Marvel's doing right now except for Moon Knight.
Strange?
I don't know.
They're not really marketing that.
No, they're not, and I'm worried about it. The only thing that I'm really excited for about Strange is Sam Raimi's taking it over, and we're going to see evil Wanda. I'm excited for that.
Throw you off. She's not the main villain.
I know she's not going to be the main villain.
She for a period of time, she will be full on. They're gonna
In
have
the
to try to
mutants,
stop
yeah,
her.
in the
They're gonna have to try to
mutants.
stop her, but apparently they've in the glass, the shattered glass photo. There's a picture of a big Marvel villain.
Why don't you just go ahead and throw it out there?
His name's Despair.
Oh, okay.
Um,
yeah.
He's a strange villain, not a strange villain, a strange villain,
Yeah.
Doctor Strange villain. And we just went from Batman to Doctor Strange.
That's fine.
But it doesn't matter.
I was kind of throwing that out there. Yeah.
But yeah, he pretty much he's like from the Nexus. They went over the
Gotcha.
Nexus in WandaVision, and he's like, they've trapped him in the Nexus however long ago, and he's tricking Wanda into pretty much getting him out. Like
Gotcha.
like they did in Shang-Chi with
The demon.
Winwu.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Anyway, back to Batman. I'm worried that if this movie is as good as we all believe it will be.
It will be.
Exactly.
And
Like,
we all know it.
it's going to continue that snowball to where something that we are so overly excited for, if it comes to hit and just lets us down, it's like it's just going to kind of take us all around. I agree with you both. I think this movie is going to be a easy already just by the trailer 9.5 out of 10. Like, no questions
Do
asked.
you have any concerns?
Personal concern, just based on actress, I'm not the biggest fan of Zoe Kravitz. I just don't know how well she will do Catwoman.
I think she's gonna kill it.
She looks like she's gonna do pretty fine, money.
She looks like she's gonna kill it.
I mean, going from Anne Hathaway to her,
But Anne Hathaway didn't embody Catwoman for me.
Anne Hathaway. All right, personal opinion for all Whitt here. She looked good. She wasn't a good Catwoman. I'm just gonna say it, boys.
He's right. In a sense, she was not at all. We watch these animated shows and movies that nail I think Long Halloween did a really good with
Long
Sam
Halloween had a
Cowell.
really good Catwing. Catwoman, yeah.
Catwing. What else was it? The animated series had a really good Catwoman. Of course, Halle Berry was a great cat. What was I saying?
My God.
I'm kidding. But no, I don't think I agree with him on Anne Hathaway. She's a great actress, whatever. She did not embody Selena Kyle for me and Catwoman, so I think this one will be a really fresh, exciting take because it's her origin story too.
That's
that we're
fair.
getting. So I'm really excited about
That's
her.
fair.
But you have your personal.
No, I
opinion.
do, and I just she's
I don't-
never hit for me.
Maybe a Catwoman spinoff after this.
It's actually rumored
Yeah,
that it'll be a TV show.
She looks like a Catwoman.
She does.
That's my big thing.
It's
She's
like-
very Selena Kyle
And
esque.
as far as I can tell, it's gonna be like that, like mysterious but like bold. Like she holds that really well. Like she carries herself like a
It's the perfect
like a
counter to
Cat
Bruce Wayne.
would, you know what I mean? Like owns the place, bold but also mysterious. You know what I mean?
And I do like how they start off. She's gonna be working with Batman. They're attracted to each other. I mean, obviously, probably physically, but
Yeah.
in terms of they kind of have what I think they're gonna have kind of the same ideals.
Well, that's always been the thing with Batman and Catwoman. She's a little bit more corrupt than he is, just because of her life of crime. But at the same time, they both make each other better by the end of their
And
stories.
in the promos, what you were saying, she seems like she's gonna own the room, and she's really confident. In the promos, it looks like she's part of Falcone's gang.
Yeah,
And in Long Halloween, I don't mean to keep bringing Long Halloween up, but they are pulling from Long Halloween.
Yeah.
She is related to Falcone.
Yeah, and yeah.
It's pretty cool. So I don't know if they're pulling that exactly, but it looks like she is in tie with Falcone. And I think it'd be cool if he does something to her, and that's why she kind of teams up with Batman. I think that'd be really cool.
I think outside of Robert Pattinson, my biggest excitement about this film is the villains. I love the Riddler just as a character.
It's going to be
But
awesome.
Paul Dano has just turned what I thought the Riddler was into something horrifying, and I love it.
And
He's a killer now.
Yeah,
early reviews have said he is terrifying.
yeah,
Like-
and that's what you need.
The best way for, I guess, is for me to describe what I think we're gonna see is like almost like a Zodiac type. I don't know if
Ooh,
you'll
yeah.
ever watch a Zodiac Killer, but it's like I get that kind of vibe from him.
I like
hardcore. Like
Yeah,
you can't figure this crap out. It's like, and when you do feel like you did, he's doing something else, and it's dude, it's gonna be nuts.
Yeah.
It's gonna be nuts.
I think the best Batman Riddler combo we've gotten is actually from the Batman animated series. You remember the one that came after the original animated series,
the Batman.
the Batman. You remember that Riddler Batman combo?
Yeah, he's
There
really
was that
good.
one episode that he spends the whole episode doing riddles and stuff, and it really shows you how smart Batman is.
Yeah.
And Riddler's just shocked that somebody can match him, and then he gets intrigued that there's somebody out there that can compete with him.
Mhm.
So I think that's kind of what we're gonna get is he's gonna test Batman, and then you're gonna see Batman grow as the greatest detective because they have said
I like
it's
that,
a detective story. And to your point, they actually did have said that they pulled the costume design and the ideas of the character from the Zodiac Killer.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So they actually kind of looks like the Zodiac Killer
I believe it.
in the old drawings of the Zodiac Killer, which is really cool.
Yeah.
It shows you how freaky this guy's gonna be.
Yeah. And going from him, we have Penguin too, and I mean Danny DeVito. Say what you want. He was a
Not
were
the-
penguin. He was
not
the
the guy.
physical embodiment of a penguin, but he was not a good actor for Penguin. Penguin is meant to be a mob boss through and through. That's what he is. But at the same time, he has this level of deformity and terror to him that instills fear into his thugs, making him one of the more wealthy and powerful people in Gotham. That's the thing. The Cobblepots are basically the antithesis of the Waynes. They were always feuding families. They always had this rivalry. And, Bruce Wayne and Oswald Cobblepot are really one in the same hand. Like, they're both wealthy, come from wealthy families.
The difference of him and Penguin is that the Cobblepots lost their fortune.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
So he became a mob boss because they lost their fortune. He had to dive into the mob
Yeah.
because I can't remember exactly how his family ended up losing, but I think it was actually because of the Waynes, and that's why he
Yeah.
doesn't like Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Which is in turn, him and Batman butt heads all the time because he's a mob
And
boss.
if you watch Gotham, that it kind of
They killed Penguin and
it does. They do a different storyline for Penguin. Instead of him growing up with wealth, he's just straight. It doesn't even mention his family.
He had to
being
work
rich.
from the ground up.
Yeah. So it's probably a bit different of a storyline going into it, which is great because again, the comic books are full of different storylines, and like Caleb said, they're pulling from several comic books and sources, which, in my opinion, always makes a film better.
Oh yeah.
Because if
Gotta have some
you hold
diversity.
on to one story, it's like, yeah, it's great, it's good, but there's a reason different stories and different comics sell
Yeah,
so much.
yeah.
Is because people want different stories, and so when you add in Long Halloween and you take some more of the,
They've copied movies like Seven.
Yeah.
Some detective stories.
yeah. So and even like he said, outside of the comic books, you have Seven, you have the Zodiac Killer. You don't have to just always draw from the comic book.
Yeah.
And taking these outside influences almost always improves your film. So that's really cool to see that they're doing that, and that's mostly just Matt Reeves because he's just a great
He's
director.
a creative genius, man.
Yeah, big
And
time.
to tack on to Penguin,
Yeah, but-
I'm excited. Really, I don't exactly know how they're going to use him. He's not a main villain. I think he's working for Falcone. I think that's what they're going for
Yeah.
because he's also seen it. There's a funeral scene or something where him, Catwoman, they're all not dressed up. Of course, they're at funeral at time.
Right.
They're all beside Falcone, and then even Bruce Wayne's there. So you're going to see these characters interact, and they don't know who each other actually
That's
are.
actually pretty cool.
And I'm excited because the Iceberg Lounge is mentioned.
Yeah.
He's already established it, which usually comes later for Penguin.
Yeah.
Actually, after he's got all of his money, so I'm excited to see where he actually is in turn. Like, is he
They're
second up?
Yeah, they're setting him up to be a threat, pretty
Yeah.
much. So I like that a lot.
And there is a confirmed Penguin show
Mhm.
coming after this,
Yeah.
which is really cool.
This is going to spawn a lot, I think. And the big thing for me is, and a question I'll ask you guys, Robin. It's been a long time since we've seen a live action Robin outside of Titans, and a live action Robin with Batman. So, if you guys are Warner Brothers, leaving my personal feelings about Warner Brothers out because of how they're doing my man Henry Cavill dirty. Who and Matt Reeves, you guys are looking at the casting board. Who are you taking for a Robin? Dick Grayson Robin, right now of the actors that are out there, and you can't say Brendan Thwaites because
this dude's going to become Nightwing.
exactly, yeah,
also have to take that
into
consideration.
yeah.
Good question.
On the spot.
Yeah, literally.
I've had mine for a long time. I know who I
Who is
want.
it? Who
It's
is it?
Timothy Chalamet. I think he looks.
Nah,
Yeah,
not big enough.
he could get there. He
Not
could
big
get
enough.
there.
It's not big
You don't
enough.
think he could?
He wouldn't. Why would he already not be big?
You don't need
Yeah,
to be.
not big enough, dude. I mean, I want to see Dick Grayson in this movie at least as an end credit scene.
I would love that.
I want something here. That I want the
Flying
Flying
Gra- yeah.
Graysons poster.
A banner
I want
or something. Yeah.
God, do you know? Do you have any idea?
I don't have a straight actor.
I mean, like a lot of people see the who was Dylan O'Brien.
Dylan O'Brien for Night.
Yeah, see him.
He'd be really good.
See, Robin's difficult because Robin has to be young.
Yeah.
Robin can't be.
That's
like
very
Dylan
true.
O'Brien. So like, I don't know a lot of young actors
Yeah.
that I guess would fit the role of that.
Yeah, that's very true.
I'll tell you this. There actually was an interview with Matt Reeves, and they asked him straight about Robin, and he said, "That's a good question." He said, "I would love to adapt Robin to our story." He said, "But I'll tell you this: he has to be like 13." Yeah. So I don't know any actors, that age.
And obviously, you can play down to.
Yeah, you could have a 16-year-old that
Yeah.
looks 13 or 14,
because he's gonna
15.
have to look however much older in the next.
Exactly, exactly. So they have a lot of room to work with. I don't have an exact answer, but I do know that they are wanting to use Robin, which is really exciting. Because we all love Dick Grayson's our favorite Robin, and I'm really excited. But yeah, they have said that they want to do Robin.
And like we said, and I was going to get into this later, but this is a good time to get into it now. Post-credit scenes, I think we're going to see something flying Grayson. Or at least throughout the film, there has to be a poster showing him.
There's got to be a tease.
Yeah, there has to
Well,
be.
I have I've done so much research on this. There are early test screenings. Apparently there's a moment, and this is coming from a reliable source, that they went to this test screening, and they are not the biggest Batman fans by any standard. And he said the whole crowd at one specific moment lost their minds. He said there's one and he said he's not even a Batman fan, and he grabbed his friend's leg, like shaking. So there is something.
So we have our
We have our Andrew Garfield,
Tobey Maguire
moment.
Movie. Okay.
I hope it's not Superman.
It's not. It's not.
No. Matt Reeves has come out and said that this is just
Batman.
Just Batman.
Solely Batman.
Oh no, I want to know what it is.
So your early theories aside, you have your obvious one can be a Joker reference, a Joker laugh, dude with green hair, because you have to think for a guy to not know much about Batman, not care much about Batman, it has to be something. You're like, oh, that guy, that's recognizable. So I think it has to be a Joker, Robin.
Maybe Barbara Gordon. Maybe.
I don't know. You're stretching with Barbara Gordon.
Yeah, that's
because Robin and
you think
Joker.
Batman, Robin and Joker.
Robin and Joker.
Yeah.
But the moment could still be just an epic moment.
Alfred's death.
No, not like that. Like an amazing performance moment.
With the way you phrase that, it can't be.
Yeah.
That like people were losing their minds in theater. Apparently. I mean, don't hold me to it.
So
this is a source from a source.
Basically, this is the cat picking up the hammer moment
No,
of the film.
Made any sense.
Okay.
But I did want to throw out there that there's something big in this movie. And my prediction is Joker.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's
Fish Mooney.
Yeah, Fish Mooney from Gotham shows up. Hugo Strange.
If they do it right, Joker will be safe for the third film. If they do it right.
I'd be okay with not seeing a Joker.
I know a lot of people, but that's my thing that I talked about, and me and Kev talked about on our DC Heroes list. You can't have Batman without Joker. It's nearly impossible.
Yeah, we were going to talk about this anyway, so we can go ahead and segue to this, which is what we want to see for the next movies.
Yeah.
And we've said it before, Mr. Freeze for the second one, they've asked Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson about Mr. Freeze, and they both said, we would love to adapt Freeze to our universe, and we think we could do a really grounded and heartfelt story for Mr. Freeze, because as we know,
It would have to be emotional.
as we know, Mr. Freeze, he is probably the most relatable villain out there in terms of, he is trying to save his wife no matter the cost. And we haven't seen a good Mr. Freeze either.
Chill.
For me, I think Freeze could almost be something where it's also a duo villain. Where for the majority of the film, you going up against Freeze, something happens with Nora, and then you're like, oh, there's an actual villain that has Nora now, or something of that nature where Batman and Freeze work together, because we've seen that in Arkham City. So it's like my brain automatically goes there because it's a true like it could be reality.
That-
That could be something that
Yeah,
actually happens.
you utilize that Hugo Strange-esque super smart villain who can like almost hold that over Freeze.
Manipulate him.
Yeah, hold that over
Manipulate
Freeze. Be like, I can save your wife. Kill Batman for me, or
Because-
something of that nature.
Because him and Batman, they don't always see eye to eye, but Batman understands where he's coming from, and he understands what Batman's coming from.
Yeah, 100%.
So they have this conflicting thing of, I know you and I know what you're doing it for, but I still have to stop you.
Yeah.
Because you're killing people, because you're not doing the right thing. I can help you, and I think that would be such a cool road to
Oh,
go
it'd be
down.
so
is
great.
if they team
So
up and they
great.
save Nora together.
Yeah.
Found out that Freeze is actually like a prisoner to another villain.
I think that would be really cool.
You tease the other villain halfway through the movie.
Mhm.
You let people think it's actually Freeze, and then you
Yeah.
go, "Holy crap! It's the Joker. It's somebody else." And then
Which would be fine
you
if
don't have
they
a whole
did
movie of
Joker.
a Joker. Then.
Which would be fine if they
Yeah.
added in, but you're still. I think you're still looking at you could adapt such a comic accurate story
Yeah.
like Death in the Family or Killing Joke to live action, which would sell so much money if you
Yeah,
did a
you put-
Killing Joke or something.
Those are the two most recognizable Batman comics: Death in the Family, Killing Joke. Anybody who is a remote Batman
Knows
fan
anything about
knows those
Batman.
two stories 100% because those are Batman's two biggest stories. Because and again, they both involve the Joker. Going back to what I said earlier, you
Exactly.
can't have Batman without Joker in some
They're
facet.
gonna do Joker.
They have to. That's my personal opinion. Leave it for the third movie. Let that be your crescendo. Let that be
Even
your.
fourth movie.
They got 4.
I don't care. Do it for
Well,
the fourth
I'm just
movie.
saying, like
That
if you're
Robert
doing-
Pattinson has said
He
he will
has,
do
yeah.
this for as long as he can.
But for now,
Here's what you do. Here's what you do. Third movie. You hear me? Y'all hear me? Third movie. After the movie, everything's done. Post-credit scene. You flash into the future. Batman is in his mansion. Some thug teenager breaks to his house. Terry McGinnis. Boom. Set up another trilogy. Terry McGinnis.
Well, no, they've already tried that with
yeah,
Dark Knight.
yeah.
They're gonna set up a Nightwing trilogy, I guess, or movie.
Now,
But-
don't get me wrong. If they're setting up a Terry McGinnis trilogy, that's fine by me.
No, but they already have that with
Exactly.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
They don't have to. They don't. Have,
totally forgot about
they don't have to dive into
I
Robert
totally-
Pattinson.
I think that's gonna.
I just want to see him.
Yeah,
I
but,
think that'll spawn off of whatever this Flash movie is.
yeah, and down the line, Batgirl, he'll be in Batgirl, so we know he's not out of the game then.
Yeah.
But I don't think you have to bounce off Batman Beyond from this universe. I think they're going to bounce off
Yeah.
Nightwing. I think they're going to bounce off Batgirl.
Yeah, because Nightwing is such a, you can transition very easily from Batman to Nightwing because the older Dick Grayson gets, the more like Batman he becomes, the more like Bruce he becomes. Get into the Bloodhaven stuff with Oracle and go into his and Barbara's relationship.
Oh, that would be so
Would
cool.
be great.
Would be where they're doing a separate Penguin show. Penguin, he becomes a big Nightwing villain in Bloodhaven.
Yeah.
We see that in Arkham City or Night. He's tracking Penguin
Yeah.
in Bloodhaven, which would be in Two-Face. You get those kind of villains for Nightwing, and you could set up those villains in Pattinson's universe while still using your Mr. Freeze, Court of Owls, Joker type villains for Batman.
Yeah.
Because Batman has so many villains that you can pull from
Yeah.
that are all great. And I think that would be really cool to set up. And you can use these spin-off shows. They're doing the Penguin, and they're doing the GCPD show that's apparently taking place before the Batman.
Okay.
It's supposedly a year before, but Batman is in year 2 in the Batman. So this takes place a year before. So this tells
won't even know Batman.
Legit, like,
Batman will be a myth.
The-
Batman will be
yeah.
a myth, and apparently Robert Pattinson is going to appear. We don't know how. We don't know what. Probably not a lot, but I don't know what this is setting up. But you're branching off from the Batman,
Yeah.
and I think it'd be really cool. Every movie you could tease a villain and do a spinoff, and then set up for
The season of that show, or
something like that, to
Yeah.
where you could set up villains for different heroes.
yeah, that'd be cool.
Here, the one thing about this hopefully trilogy is I just pray that they don't miss this time. That Batman's missed too many times. I mean, they missed with Ben Affleck and Deathstroke, in my opinion. They missed with Robin after Dark Knight Rises. They should have had you should have had something there, and it's like they've missed too many times, and I don't think they're going to allow it to happen again. And that's what I'm excited for. And that's, I guess, because we've seen them not go the direction we want it to, and now it's like oh, there's actual real hope, and they seem to know what they're doing, and that's exciting.
Yeah, and I love how Warner Brothers is really just, they've kind of let Matt Reeves just take the reins on this one. You know, so much of his influence in this film, and you know, I love the fact that he's bringing Andy Serkis in from Planet of the Apes and stuff, just because he knows. Andy Serkis, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated actors of all time because of all the CGI stuff he does. He deserves an Oscar. Please stop shaking your head. Anyway.
So what you think, Caleb? So what you think, Caleb?
No, not an underrated actor.
Jaden Smith, underrated actor.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I will agree with Whit that there is such a, you know, Marvel has hit it perfectly with MCU, but I think there's enough Batman characters to do a Bat U.
Yeah.
Like they could literally have a cinematic universe for Batman by himself,
I agree completely.
while still having your DCEU. Even though I think Batman would get more popular
100%.
than the DCEU, and then they'd be like, oh, let's throw in Batman because they need the money.
Yeah.
Because the DCEU.
And that's all this is going to boil down to, fellas. At the end of the day, they don't care about us. They don't care about our enjoyment. They just care if they get our ticket money at this point.
Which, I mean, you'll get my ticket. You'll get my ticket
will
money.
get it.
6 times.
You get my ticket money if you do the right story and
Exactly.
you don't mess up with the director, because Matt Reeves looks like he knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
And you know, he said he's going to take a break after this one, but
I don't blame him.
But they're all in.
Yeah.
Pattinson's in for a second one. You're in for a second one. You're in for a third one. You're in for a third one. Boom, you got a universe.
Yeah, build it.
And they keep doing these shows, keep spawning stuff off the shows. Boom, you got yourself a universe. And if you keep it grounded, you keep it simple. And then with Matt Reeves, he did Planet of the Apes and made apes riding horses, shooting guns look good.
Yeah.
You could throw in the fantastical villains like an Ivy, a Croc, Clayface.
Yeah.
And he could probably pull it off.
Oh, I think he easily could. Yeah. I mean, with that, I love what you said there. The Batman U. I mean, it's Batman for DC is what Spider-Man is for Marvel. Batman's that relatable character. Like, yeah, he's a genius billionaire, but at the same time, he's human. It's so hard to relate to Superman because he's perfect, but it's so easy to relate to Spider-Man because he's a kid in Queens. Like, yeah, and Bruce has that same thing because anybody who has dealt with loss and struggling to come out of that dark place. I mean, whose parents get murdered when they're 5? Like, it makes, so he has that relatability, and I think if they hold on to that and, like you said, keep it grounded, I think it'll flourish.
Yeah, don't add in a Batman versus Superman. Don't add in, you know, Wonder Woman and Flash to this universe.
Yeah.
Keep it simple, man. I think that's the key
And I
to
think,
all this.
yeah, and I think, you know, adding into that, with the DCEU, I say honestly, for a while, keep Batman and Superman out of it.
Well, they're gonna use Keaton for Batman.
They're going to use Keaton, yeah, but I mean, even at that, like, let the others kind of have their fun and keep this Batman separate completely.
And you really don't have to tell team up stories. They're doing fine with the individual
The
stories.
solo
they're
movies are the best, I mean, outside of Snyder Cut.
Of course, we could get into that for forever. That would have spawned in another universe. That would have been incredible.
Snyder Cut had a miss.
That was a miss,
Mhm.
but you've killed it with, you know, Shazam. Aquaman was great. You know, the first Wonder Woman is one of the most underrated.
Yeah, it's great.
Underrated top tier.
It's great.
Like it's not mentioned with the top tier, and I think it should be because it's really good. And I mean they've hit. I mean, I think Black Adam's going to be great, and it's a solo movie. I think they're going to hit with Shazam 2. I think it'll be just as good as the first one. And
I agree.
Aquaman 2 it got big potential,
Mhm.
and I think that I honestly think they're going to miss with Flash because it's a team up.
Yeah.
It's a whole story. I think
And
they're
it's
going
Ezra
to.
Miller. I mean,
I think they're going to miss with Flash.
Yeah, I mean, it's just what they do that stems off of Flash is what's going to be. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think I'm excited for the Flash, and I think it'll be a good movie, but I think they'll miss the Snyder Cut. They missed because I wanted something Green Arrow related, and the Batman. It's like I just want to tease. I
This
just
man
wanted
was-
to tease of the Green Arrow and the Snyder Cut. I just
this
want to
man
tease
was
of Dick Grayson, bro.
100% expecting Stephen Amell to walk on the screen.
Not Stephen Amell.
He
not
was-
Stephen
he
Amell.
was
I would have
dying.
liked it. I would have liked it, but no.
He was like, "Do you think they're going to add in Green Arrow to the Snyder Cut?" And I was like,
No.
"No."
I love him.
I was like, Green Lantern or Martian Manhunter, sure, not Green Arrow.
Yeah.
He's not a core member of the Justice League. But anyways, aside from that,
I needed it.
I think honestly, if you keep it simple, keep him to his universe, you're going to see success.
Yeah.
You're going to see numbers because Batman sells. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, the big three, it sells if you do it right.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have them together for it to sell. Like Marvel, I mean, of course they built their universe right, but I feel like when they had their team ups, it sold. For DC, you don't have to have your team up for it to sell.
Well, the reason Marvel's team up sold is because of how good the solo movies performed.
Right.
I mean, they performed wonderfully. So, the solo films make the team up so much better. I mean, just because you have those relationships, you have that thing build up off screen completely. So, I agree completely. Keep it separate. Let it build on its own. Let it grow on its own, and it will be successful.
Let's just see where this thing goes. Don't mess it up. Don't throw in rewrites and reshoots. I mean, there obviously are reshoots.
Oh,
just because of touching up. But don't throw in these massive, like Snyder cut. You're not going to change everything the director's trying to do.
Yeah.
You let Matt Reeves have his vision, do it right, and you can throw in another director if he doesn't want to do it, but don't do it halfway through the shooting.
Yeah.
Keep it simple. Everything's gonna be all right. This movie's gonna be great.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to. I mean, we are days away, and we were years away.
Right.
We were.
Yeah, we're literally.
When I was born, I was almost 20 years away.
That is how time works, my friend.
Yeah, but seriously, what are we? Are we 5? We're almost 4.
Let's see here.
Monday, Monday,
Right here,
Tuesday,
let's see.
5 days.
Wednesday, Thursday. 5 days.
Yeah, right here.
5 days. We're literally less than a week away from watching the Batman, and we have been theorizing. We've been watching videos. We've been analyzing the trailer. I've been watching people analyze the trailer, watching rumors. Keeping up with certain scenes and how the movie's going to feel, and we still don't know, what this movie's going to be. And I'm so excited. It's the most excited I've been for a movie probably ever.
That's fair to say. It really.
Because I was 6. I was 6 when The Dark Knight came out, or I probably would have been just as.
Oh
excited.
yeah.
But this is the first movie. I mean, I was really excited for No Way Home, but this is just on another level. I've been keeping up with this movie for literally 2 years.
Oh, and again, it goes back to what we talked about in our last podcast. Me and you are just overwhelmingly more DC than we are Marvel. Yes, No Way Home was great and fun mainly because we love Andrew Garfield, but DC just holds a special place in mine and especially your heart. So, seeing this get the hype going, like get the. Oh, it's just gonna be.
And
amazing.
all the reviews thus far that I've seen are positive.
Yeah.
Well, there's no world where, if done correctly, the Avengers should be more popular than the Justice League. There's
I
no
agree
world.
completely,
And-
100%.
I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? And so I agree. I mean, I'm more DC, but when it comes to the MCU, they've just done it better.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like they're finally gonna hit, man. They're gonna do it right.
Yeah.
After the Dark Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the thing. They hit so well with Dark Knight. I was like, oh, they'll never top it. I think they have a shot. They have a shot. I'm not saying it'll be better because I'm rewatching that series before I go into this one just to remind myself how great those are. And I started Batman Begins today, and Batman Begins is stellar.
It's so great.
It is just one of the most criminally underrated comic book movies ever, and especially Origin.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It really throws you off when they change Rachel's too.
Yeah, and
That's one of that might be. No, it's not. It's not worse than casting Amy Adams as Lois Lane, but it's right there behind it.
For a long time, I thought the Rachel in Batman Begins was Talia in The Dark Knight Rises because they look kind of similar.
kind of do.
It's close. But yeah, no, I mean, we're all three sitting here massive Batman fans. No matter how you look at it, we've grown up with Batman animated, played the Batman video games, watched Dark Knight, everything. Like, you're looking at probably three of the biggest childhood Batman fans. I mean, Batman has had an impact on our lives and will continue to, and this is so exciting that we're finally seeing another attempt at making Batman great. Yeah. That's my biggest thing. This is probably, and probably will be, like you said, the best Batman film ever, if done right.
Best comic book film.
I agree with that too.
Well, if it's the best Batman film, Dark Knight's the best comic book movie for me. It's my favorite movie of all time, but it's the best comic book movie. So if it's the best Batman, it'll be the best comic book movie for me.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, well, this isn't just a comic book movie. This is a murder mystery. This is a thriller. I mean, so it's like the potential for this not only to be the best comic book movie,
Yeah,
the best
That's a
superhero
good point.
it's best movie. If you like movies like Zodiac, what is it that
Mhm.
Paul Dano plays in? That where he's basically the other is it like I'm talking about.
No, I
Is it
don't.
like Prisoner or something like that.
I haven't seen anything with Paul Dano, so this is exciting for me.
Either way, if you like stuff like that,
Mhm.
like that's a killer genre of movies if done right, and I think they're gonna do it.
And I like how he brought that up because what's the best MCU film?
Winter Soldier.
Winter
That's what I was just about
You
to
can
say.
take Steve Rogers and replace him with James Bond
Exactly.
and insert Secret Spy wherever you want to, and the film
That's a good point.
still rocks.
Really good. I hadn't thought about that at all.
You take this and you make it Knives Out-esque crime, whatever
Yeah,
you
that's
call it.
awesome.
Yeah, it will do great. And again, outside of the Batman tag, the fact that Matt Reeves is diving into these other properties, these other ideas to go with that work well with Batman. It just it's adding
It just
excitement.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it really.
that's
Like
all it
you,
is.
you look at the Flash trailer and you're just like, what? What is that? You look at the Batman trailer and everybody is hyped.
Yeah.
I haven't heard a bad word yet,
Mm-mm.
and I don't expect I'm going to.
No.
Honestly.
All right. So to wrap up, outside of this movie, favorite Batman appearance ever? Like movie, comic book, show, game. What's your favorite rendition of Batman?
Arkham games.
Arkham games, Kevin Conroy.
I
Solid.
like them all.
Arkham games.
Arkham games, man. Arkham games.
I mean,
You go Arkham franchise.
yeah. And again,
You can't beat 'em.
it
Okay,
goes.
As a whole, you can't beat them.
Let me think here, because I probably agree in terms of Batman because the Nolan trilogy with the Dark Knight, it wasn't Batman centric.
Mhm.
So I do agree that Arkham's probably the. I agree. I agree 100%, but I also want to try to think of something else to throw out. So if you got anything else, we'll think here for a second.
No, I don't. That was gonna be mine. Arkham Origins specifically for me, because that's your brutal Batman. That's your early game Batman. But also for me, Long Halloween, I thought had a great rendition of Batman with
It was good, man.
with Jensen Ackles voicing. I thought he was really good. That detective, that the origin of Two-Face too. That whole storyline I thought was great too. So for me, yeah, it would be Arkham Origins Batman and Long Halloween for me.
Okay, I'll go with probably Arkham Knight Batman.
It's a good one.
And I think Origins is
Because that's not even Kevin Conroy either.
What?
They're also.
Yeah, Kevin Conroy doesn't voice Batman in Origins.
Hmm.
I just found that out the other day too, and it sounds just like him, but younger.
I feel like I knew that.
Anyway,
Anyways, probably because it shows, what he goes through in
Mhm.
terms of his mind.
Yeah.
And when Joker starts taking over, of course, if you don't know, Batman gets poisoned with Joker's blood, and he starts becoming the Joker. He starts seeing the Joker more in his mind, and the Joker eventually takes over because Scarecrow puts his toxin in Batman. It just makes it worse. Like
This is not, by
Batman,
the way,
Batman
not
is
Origins.
going through the worst thing he's ever gone
Yeah.
through.
yeah,
Like physically, mentally, he's just going through it.
Yeah.
And to see him overcome it, and at the end, you get the icon. Are we sure that's not Kevin Conroy? Are you absolutely
Night. You're talking about Night, right?
Night.
I said Origins.
I said Night, and you said that it's not even Kevin Conroy.
I think we said it at the same time, and it just messed up.
Because I
well,
was like, we get the iconic line, "I'm
Yeah.
vengeance, I'm the Night."
Kevin
Yeah, that's
Conroy is Arkham Knight Batman.
Oh my gosh!
Or
So
Arkham Origins is not Kevin Conroy.
right? I knew that.
Okay.
I mean, I know. Of course, I knew that. You threw me for an absolute.
I think
loop.
we.
I was like,
Of course,
yeah.
everybody knows that.
I was like, what? And then I was like, I'm like literally. I played the game like last year. I was like, we get the iconic line from Kevin
Yeah.
Conroy.
I mean, it's in the theme song.
So, anyways, okay, it's good to clear up. So I was losing my mind. I was like, did I get the Joker blood? Am I losing my mind? But he literally starts losing his mind, and then to see him come back from that. So that one, probably for the Arkham games for me. But the one, Kevin Conroy is just the man.
Yeah.
But Mask of the Phantasm
It's a
is
great one.
stellar. It's like second Batman animated movie for me of all time.
Phenomenal film.
And for those who don't know, Under the Red Hood would be number one. But for Batman, it's himself. It would be Mask of the Phantasm because You get this. Have you ever watched it?
It's a great movie.
You need to watch it.
It's a great movie.
It is. It's probably the best story for Batman I've ever seen in my life because he goes through this period of. You get to see his origin. It kind of flashbacks and forth. He's Batman, but you get to see how he becomes Batman, and it's really cool. And he falls in love with this girl, and but he had already made the promise to his parents that he was going to save the city and all that stuff. And he made the promise, and then he's like, "But I found happiness. Wouldn't y'all want me to be happy?" And he's literally talking to their tombstone. He's like, "Wouldn't y'all want me to be?" And it's so powerful. It's so you gotta watch it. Dude.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
And it shows it flips back and forth between that and present, and of course Joker's in it. Mark Hamill's in it. He's so great. And it's called Mask of the Phantasm. You gotta watch it. It's one of the best renditions of Batman I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. And I recently just watched it. Will Arnett does a great voice for Batman. I'll say that much. And Iron Man does suck.
Iron Man sucks.
I mean, Iron Man doesn't actually suck, but that's just one of the best references in the Batman.
Yeah. So yeah,
that's for me.
All in all, Batman fans through and through.
Golly,
extraordinarily excited about what this movie has the potential to bring.
Rob Pat will be the Batman.
I agree completely.
Heath Ledger's Joker, Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. This guy will be Batman.
And it's going to be hard for me to say that over, Kevin Conroy, just because of the iconicness of who Kevin Conroy is.
It's different.
But yeah, it is.
He's the voice.
Yeah.
He's the embodiment of Batman.
Exactly. So, I mean, again, this is going to be a great film, no matter how you look at it. It cannot be a bad film at this point. So, super excited for the Batman. We will be watching it March 4th.
This Thursday,
7 o'clock.
This is the 3rd.
Watch it more.
Is it the 3rd?
It's the 3rd. It's Friday's the 4th.
Okay.
That's when it officially
I mean, I'll be watching it again on the 4th, but
I will as well.
Yeah, we were able to, this man got us early tickets, so we applaud you, sir. Thank you for your sacrifice of waking up.
No, dude, it was so stressful. But then, actually, not a lot of people were online getting them at 12, like we were.
Yeah,
me and Whit were sitting at lunch. We're like, oh my gosh, what if we don't get them? But we got them, and we probably could have got more. It was great.
It worked out.
But I think I recently checked, and our theater was virtually full. So that's exciting.
It's packing out. It's packing out early screenings, and it's packing out early ticket, drops. So, I mean, so much so to where Little Caesars is dropping the Batman calzone.
And you better believe I'm getting that Wednesday. I will get that Wednesday in preparation.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll get that Wednesday, and I'm gonna try to get these Dark Knight movies watched. So excited.
I mean, yeah, that's the word to say. Excitement. That's all that is. So with that being said, it feels like a good place to wrap up. So go watch the Batman. Go.
Seriously.
Support theaters opening back up again. Let's get out of this mindset of scared of everything. Start with this movie. No Way Home began it. Let's continue with this movie.
Let's get $1 billion for Batman.
Exactly. Get back in the theaters. Support the second best superhero of all time.
Behind
Superman. I'm the only one. I just said that for fun. Anyway.
You literally just got done applauding everything Batman does. It's games, it's TV, it's movies, it's villains. The rogue gallery is insane. And he's gonna say Superman's better. So dumb. Name a Superman game. Have they nailed a Superman? Oh, never mind.
They've never nailed a Superman.
They've nailed a Superman show before.
Yeah. Nailed two at this point.
No, they haven't nailed that show. No. Batman's the best. He didn't mean to say that. He's literally wearing a Batman shirt.
It's a Batman
shows are nailed, though.
Gotham.
Anyway. Don't have to continue.
Animated series.
I'm allowed to have my opinion. I'm allowed to have my opinion. Anyway, but Batman.
Raven's good, man.
Raven's quality show. Quality show.
They've only had one animated Superman show that's been good.
Anyway.
So dumb.
Yes.
We ended on a bad note.
Because you had to take it there. Go watch Batman. Enjoy yourself. You brought
it up. You did. You said the second best superhero ever.
I would like for Zoe to waste one of her 9 lives on me.
I gotta edit that out, don't I? Do I have to edit that out?
I don't care.
Probably. That's just weird. We don't want a brother getting flamed. It was just weird. What is this? Mark your time.
Mark your time because that was just weird.
Stamped 54 minutes.
54 minutes. Man. Put a note down.
And snap it back in. All right. Ending off here, guys. Thank you so much for listening. This just took a very bad turn. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Go watch the Batman. Thank you for your support.
Yes.
And you all just have a wonderful day. This is Mike.
And we will have a big review.
Oh yeah, big
We'll
time.
have a big
We've
review.
already got it planned. It'll be us three, and I think two more are going to be hopping on. It's going to be fun.
It'll be fun.
It's going to be fun. This little tiny room's going to be packed out, but
Heck yeah.
we're going to have fun with it. With that being said, this is Micah.
Caleb.
Micah.
Y'all have a wonderful evening.